Please keep this discipline. Yoganushasanam. In the yoga it is said, yoga is an anushasanam. Anushasanam means it a discipline. In whatever walks of your life, if you can keep your body will always in a positive state. In the later chapters of the Gita it is said, Sura Sampatti, Asura Sampatti, it is said. Means the qualities of a demon, the wealth of a demon, the wealth of the devatas. There are two types of wealth. The wealth of the demons, the asuras, the wealth of sura, the devatas. There are two types of wealth. You have to be sensitive which wealth are you acquiring moment to moment to moment right now. All of you, which wealth are you acquiring moment to moment to moment? What type of wealth are you really acquiring? If you are keeping your body restless, if you are keeping your body in a state of ungratitude, no sense of gratitude at all, you are taking your body for granted, you are careless, right? You are developing an asura sampatti, a demonish qualities. That wealth goes on building. Every negative will is a demon will qualities. Even a demon, Ravana also has a great will, no? Tremendous will he has got. But the will of a demon is very different from a will of a devata. So therefore, please see, right now, I want you, even if mosquitoes are going around you, gently push them aside in harmony. Develop a positive will, smile, be cheerful. Develop an emotional will of seeing the miracle of life, of seeing the adbhuta of life. There is music in the sun, there is music in the stars, there is beauty in the sun, there is a beauty in the stars, there is beauty everywhere. In the next two slokas, the Lord is going to say, right, Shabdaha ke is in Akashaha, also there is music flowing through. Alright, and if you are able to see beauty, 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 you are able to see harmony, harmony, harmony. You will be able to see harmony only when you develop a transformatory apparatus. Without this, like how a dentist or how a doctor without an X-ray cannot really see the body properly. Right? Without a dentist, without an X-ray, how we can't see deeper layers inside. He has an apparatus to see through X-ray, through scanning he can see. So too we have to develop an apparatus. Please see, this transformatory apparatus you have to build. With that apparatus you look, Yetat yonini bhutani sarvani upadaraya. This harmony, this principle of God consciousness is the sustaining factor everywhere. Aham Krishnasya Jagataha. Krishnasya means for everything. I am the Prabhavaha Pralayaha. I am the origin, I am the death. So in other words, in simple words, if you can't understand Sanskrit, in simple words, look at things in its totality. Don't look at birth as joy, death as sorrow. Because death is snatching away life. You take birth as joy, death as sorrow. You look like fragmented. And if everybody is miserable because death is happening, just imagine, right, from now onwards, no death will happen. You will curse the Lord, in fact. Isn't it? No death, only population is increasing. Alright, even death is also, please see, a beautiful blessings of the Lord. Again, there's a very beautiful fable in Alexander's life. They say it's a fable, it's just a fable. They use the word Alexander for that. Right? So therefore he came with someone, somebody told, go to that place there is a lake, a mystical lake. If you drink water from the mystical lake, you will become eternal. Shashwatam. And the moment Alexander says, hears it from a mystic, he rushes to that mystical lake itself. When he rushes to the lake there, and the whole valley was very different, the lake was celestial, Alexander felt, my God, I'm going to become eternal, I'm going to become Shashwatam. So with tremendous enthusiasm, he goes to the lake to drink water to become eternal. And there was a black crow on the top of the tree. And the crow speaks and tells Alexander, stop, don't be an idiot like me. I have drank this water, now I have eternally become a crow. Don't be an idiot like me, I have drank the water, I have become eternally a crow. And then it seems Alexander develops a Jnanodaya. My God, right? If I become Alexander eternally, this person, the possibility for me for different dimensions is eroded. So therefore, you trade death as an enemy, birth as a friend. Don't take it. Look at life in its totality. Is a simple punch. Aham Krishnasya Jagataha. To everything, look in totality. Then you will see difficulty is a part of blessings of the Lord. Right? Your sukha, your dukkha, your difficulties you go through, how a diamond gets sharpened, right? So too by rough edges, so your difficulties are sharpening you, purifying you, taking to a level. So look at things in its totality. Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, he can understand this much better. That's why those days, when somebody goes to a guru, they'll say, what is your gotra? And then he closes his ear and he does his abhivade. He tells his lineage. Right? Not to find out what your lineage is, to see what your discipline is. Right? And according to the discipline, the master can appropriately teach. For example, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya can understand this. A warrior can understand what is meant by being total. Because a warrior in those days were two things, an archers and swordsman. And since recently I am learning sword also, as a part of martial art, the first Swamiji learning sword also, as a part of martial art. So therefore, if you go to the Googles in the internet, or if you start learning martial art, you know how to use a sword, and you will find how the art of swordsmanship is a great art. So as I was going through the Googles, or so this one, since my class started with a small sword there, right, and going through, I found the art of swords is a tremendous art. Any swordsman, any Kshatriya who has used a sword knows this simple principle, a profound principle. In sword fighting, and I was asking my martial art teacher, and he said, it's very true, Swamiji, what you are saying, exactly. As you go on higher belts, we'll teach you this. He says, a swordsman, when he's playing sword, if his mind, listen very carefully to this, if his mind is contained in the opponent's sword, if his mind is focused in the opponent's sword, he gets detained and imprisoned by his sword. Listen carefully. If you don't understand, also listen. In sword fight there, and Arjuna being a Kshatriya, and therefore the word totality is what is the essence of this verse. Anything be total. A Kshatriya, warrior in particular, in warfare, he has to be total. You can be total in two ways. In sword fighting, the art of swordsmanship, when somebody is taking a sword, you are using the sword, the invariable, the lack of proper discipline, somebody is using your sword, you look at the sword. When you look at the sword, you get detained by this opponent's sword. If you look at that person's hand as using the sword, you get detained by his hand. If you look at his eyes as he's attacking you, you will get detained by his eyes. In the art of swordsmanship, it says, when an opponent attacks you, if you look at the sword, you get detained by the sword. If you look at his eyes, you get detained by his eyes. If you look at his hand, you will get detained by his hand. So therefore, what should you look? Where your mind should be. If your mind is in the opponent's sword, you get detained by the sword. Therefore, where should your mind be? Right? Your mind should be in the totality of the opponent. In sword fighting, you should be in the totality of the opponent. You should not be looking, your mind, if it is imprisoned in the, looked at the sword, gets imprisoned by the sword. Where should your mind be, asked the student? Your mind should be nowhere. Listen, your mind should be nowhere. If your mind is nowhere, it is everywhere where your opponent is. When you are looking at a tree, you have to look at the leaf, the buds, the tree. Look at the tree at totality. When you're fighting as a Kshatriya, when he's fighting the opponent, he knows if he looks at the hand of the opponent, the sword of the opponent, he gets detained by the opponent. So his mind should be what? The mind should not be one place, it should be every place. The opponent's rhythm, you should be able to flow. So therefore, the attackers, a Kshatriya will know this, an attacker's rhythm he should be open to. Therefore, in other words, a warrior uses his mind as a no mind, and no mind as a mind. Listen. A warrior, a Kshatriya, and you see so much of philosophy, uses no mind as his mind. Why no mind as his mind? Because if his mind is in the sword, it gets imprisoned by the sword. If his mind is in the hand, gets imprisoned by the hand, in the attacker's hand. So therefore his mind should not be there. His mind should be where? He should have a no mind. When he has a no mind, that is his mind. He sees not the hand of the opponent, he sees the rhythm of the attacker of the opponent. If he sees the rhythm of the attacker of the opponent, he is total in his perception of the opponent. He is not fragmented in his perception of the opponent. And when he is total in the perception of the opponent, it is in that totality alone you can diffuse the opponent. Are you understanding? Right. So start learning martial art now. Then you will understand it. If not, if you are in sports, let us say in sport, my uncle was a very great hockey player. He was one of the top 5 hockey players in Karnataka. And my younger brother was a state player in hockey. Right? He told that when he was a state player, my uncle gave him some tips in hockey. He said it was such a wonderful tip. And I, being a football player, I could understand this. Not that time as a football player, I could understand. In hockey, my uncle told him, you're taking the ball, you're dribbling. It's called dribble. You're taking the ball, you're dribbling and going. You go to the goalie, go to the goalkeeper. You look as though you're hitting at the left side of the goalkeeper will go to his right side. As you're going there, you hit it in this corner. Right? You confuse the goalie. As though you're hitting here, but hit here. Look there, but hit here. He says so many goals he was able to hit as a state player. See, you confuse. Now, what did the goalkeeper do? Right? The ball is going. Now, the man looks on the left side. When he looks at the left side, the goalkeeper is looking at the eye of the attacker. He gets contained by the eyes. But what this man has done, he has hit the other side. So therefore, in the art of swordsmanship, in martial art, if you learn art of swordsmanship, you will hear there, when an attacker hits you with a sword, don't look at the sword, you will be contained by the sword. Look at what? Look at the totality of the attacker. And the totality of the attacker, you have to look there. When you look at the totality of the attacker, you look at the totality of his rhythm of the attacker. When the rhythm of the attacker you adore, then you use your sportsman sword as a spontaneity and the techniques you have given there. So too also in the field of sports. You're taking the ball, you're dribbling and taking the ball. You look at the left side as though you're passing here, but you kick it to the right side. So the opponent should be known. He has to see the totality of the man who's taking the ball, not just at his legs. He has to see the totality. And therefore, please, in sports, you can afford to lose. But a Kshatriya cannot afford to lose. If he loses, he dies. So therefore, a Kshatriya will understand this very well. A warrior will understand this very well of being really total. And therefore, if you look at Lord Krishna uses language as a Kshatriya in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Nainam handati, nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. Uses the language of Kshatriya. You cannot kill the Atma, you cannot wet the Atma, you cannot burn the Atma. He says there, because a Kshatriya knows killing, burning, attacking there. And therefore, please understand, here, aham krishnasya jagataha prabhavaha pralayastada. Aham krishnasya jagaha Prabhavaha pralayastata. Look at it in totality. Friends, take this and look into your life. Look at your life at totality. Listen. Don't look at life. I want to become successful. Then hook or crook, I want to become successful. You're not looking at totality. You may cheat somebody, but you have taken the ingredients of failure. You smoke, and if you look, smoking has given you pleasure. This moment has given you pleasure, but that smoking has contained itself enough sorrow for you to become miserable. So when you smoke, be total. Don't get contained by pleasure. Look total, and then when you look total, true wellness will open up to you. And therefore, totality is one of the greatest secrets of living. The whole Gita of personal excellence, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, look at life totality. Don't look at life, birth and death as opposed to each other. We look at death as opposed to life. We look at success as opposed to failure. Yes, in one level it is true, but another level it is not true. A failure can be a great teaching. I've seen in so many relationships, people come to me and say, Swamiji, my husband is giving money to his brother. Arey, why are you looking only at that? If your husband is giving money and helping your brother, be grateful. He has such a wonderful, good heart. But if you're looking at, oh, my money is going away, my husband gives going away, if you're looking it is going away, it's just going away, but you're not seeing in totality, he is developing a good heart. And if your husband has a good heart, you will be the top beneficiary for that. But if you have made your husband conjuice, to you also he will not give. You also will not give. So therefore, in a husband-wife relationship, if your husband is generous, support him. Be total. The sun, the stars, the moon, the flora, the fauna, all is giving you, no? Everything is giving you. When everything is giving you, why you only have to take? Life should be a balance of give and take. And therefore, anything for the matter, your husband, this one, your wife being independent, anything, look at it as totality. Don't look in fragments. The moment you look life in fragment, you are in for a catastrophe of living. So therefore the Lord says beautifully there, please see, Yetat yonini bhutani sarvani upadharaya aham krishnasya jagataha. For the whole this one, prabhavaha pralayastada. And putting in the psychological, just end up in 5 minutes now, putting in psychological terms also, in psychological terms also if you took, your thought is prabhavaha is born, pralayaha it dies. So therefore, don't be contained in a thought. Don't be contained in a thought. When thought comes, we get focused in the thought, we get imprisoned by the thought. The thought has come, the thought has gone, isn't it? Apply this in your adhyatmic life. Personal excellence. We get tensed up. People say, Swamiji, I'm tense. Why are you tense? Too many thoughts, Swamiji. Right? Too many thoughts means what has happened? Every thought coming, you feel some attacker is attacking you. Alright? Just be a witness. Thought comes. You see the adbhuta, it is called, this meditation is called as Chit Vilasa. Chit means consciousness, Vilasa means place. A thought is rising. You know, when I teach meditations in my workshops to people there, I've seen, when I tell people close your eyes and meditate, people find it so miserable, as though some dinosaur is moving inside them. Why? This is just too many thoughts, Swamiji. I said, don't fight with a thought. If thought comes, don't fight, create a harmony. Every thought is an adbhuta rasa. No, Swamiji, I'm sitting and my thought comes to bonda. Alright, an adbhuta rasa, wing on bonda is come. Now bonda is not going to remain permanently there. Wing, it will go to the neighbor's house. Thought. So therefore with adbhuta, see, a thought is born, but you are not born. Thought dies, but you don't die. So who are you? A thought, prabhavaha, is born. Are you born? But if you look at yourself as a thought, with every thought being born, it appears you are born. When a thought comes there, you don't come, you see a thought coming. When thought goes pralayaha, you don't see, you don't die, you see the thought dying. So thought is born, you just see it. Thought goes, you see it, you are only seeing. Right? You are only seeing. But what happens when we see a thought, we identify with a thought, we get prisoned by the thought, and therefore whatever nakras the thought does, you feel you are doing the nakra, because you do not know how to be a sakshi to the birth, sakshi to the death there. You do not know how to be, and therefore next sloka is going to tell, tomorrow I will tell you, right? Mattaha parataram na anyat asti iti Dhananjaya. He is going to say this state of being a sakshi, he says this state of being a witness, if you see, then a birth of a thought is adbhuta, the death of a thought is adbhuta. Somebody saying hi to you is beautiful, somebody saying bye to you is beautiful. When the sun rises is beautiful, sun sets is beautiful. Then you go to next level. When success happens is beautiful, when failure happens it's beautiful, because you see beauty, 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 beauty everywhere. But if you are not able to see that beauty, because you have not developed this apparatus called transformation. And if you have not developed this apparatus there, therefore the whole sadhana for you to see in harmony in life, this apparatus you have to build. This antakarna shuddhi you have to build. And if you build antakarna shuddhi, change your body will, change your emotional will. Whomever you are disliking right now, whomever you are disliking, start loving the person emotionally. It's called prema lahari. Start giving love to the person whom you dislike. Alright, whom you dislike, you start giving love to the persons whom you dislike. You are developing an emotional will. Whenever your mind is worrying, your intellectual center, tell your mind to see the object of your worry is blessing you in some mysterious form. We don't know what form it is blessing you. It is blessing you. Train your intellect. Then you are developing a positive buddhi will. Shakti sandhane sharira utpattihi. Lord Shiva says, Shakti sandhane. If you develop this Shakti, Lord Shiva says, sharira utpattihi. A new body is created in you. A new body is created. This new body is called a Dvija. He is truly a Brahman. He is truly a Brahman who has developed this Dvija, this body there. Shakti sandhane sharira utpattihi. What is Shakti? Lord Shiva says, Ichha Shakti, that will, Vidya Shakti, that clarity, and Kriya Shakti, you acting on it. Ichha Shakti, Vidya Shakti, Kriya Shakti, this you build. Sharira utpattihi, a new body you will build. With that body, you start looking at life. Even dukkha becomes a prasada. Day and night are not conflicts. It is a play of harmony, and it is only there a true personal excellence in a person can truly arise. Right? Now, some of you don't understand this. Doesn't matter. Just relax. Develop a will now. I am going to understand it. I am going to understand it. You are not understanding, but develop, I am going to understand it. When you go on developing this will, a crystallization happens in you. In that crystallization, like a flash, like an enlightenment. Enlightenment can happen anywhere, right? It will happen. That's why a student asked the master, what should I do in order to be enlightened? The master says, as much as you can do to make the sun rise and the sun set. Means you can't do anything. What should I do in order to be enlightened? As much as you can do to make the sun rise and sunset. Then what is the use of all the spiritual practices? Said the student to the master. The master says, only to make sure that you are awake when the sun rises and you are awake when the sun sets. You have to just be awake to this reality. And then you find another level of personal excellence which opens up in you. Lot of you have heard a lot, digested a little, intend to digest the rest. In the whole process, understand this. As I said yesterday, the Veda says, Atmavare shrotavyam mantavyam nididhyasitavyam. First you should know how to listen, then mantavyam you should know how to think over having listened, then nididhyasitavyam, learn to meditate over that. In this whole process, please see the distinction between knowledge and understanding. One of the side effects of listening is you go on gaining information, but the information doesn't become transformation. When you go on listening, if you go on gaining information, and if the information does not become transformation, then you are stuck in the domain of knowledge. You are stuck in the domain of knowledge. Understand there is a difference between knowledge and understanding. Jnanam and Vijnanam. Information is just knowledge. In fact, Lord Shiva in the Shiva Sutra says, Jnanam bandhanam. Knowledge can become a great bondage. Listen carefully. Lord Shiva says in the Shiva Sutra, your knowledge can become a great bondage, and the sutra in the Shiva Sutra is Jnanam bandhanam. Knowledge can become a bondage. Why? Because when you start acquiring knowledge, you have not digested that knowledge, it becomes a psychological burden to you, and then you start looking at the world through the structure of your knowledge, and you want the world to fit into that structure of knowledge. If the world does not fit into that structure of knowledge you have got, then you are upset with the world, because what you have invested in your knowledge is very important there, and you don't see the realities of life. So this, as a student of Vedanta, as a student of spirituality, you should understand this distinction between knowledge and understanding. Knowledge is information, but when knowledge becomes understanding, it becomes transformation. That's why a very man of understanding is very, very innocent. He has a childlike presence. He looks at the world innocently. He looks at the world freshly. He does not go on judging, branding, labeling the world. His presence makes you see an object as the object is. But when you operate from a structure of knowledge, please, I know you have an understanding of knowledge, and I am presenting another understanding of knowledge. So therefore, listen very attentively. Right? When I say knowledge, that knowledge is just words. Right? This is called in Sanskrit. I'm trying to de-Sanskritize as much as possible, or else you have a new stress called Sanskrit stress. Right? Now this knowledge, by understanding through words, acquiring knowledge by words, this is called in Sanskrit as Vachyartha Jnanam. It is only Vak Jnanam, Vachyartha Jnanam, the verbal knowledge. This verbal knowledge, the great thinker of the century, Jiddu Krishnamurti, says, right, word is not the thing, the description is not the described. He says, word is not the thing. The word love is not love. The word sweet is not sweet. So J. Krishnamurti says, word is not the thing, the description is not the described. Word is a map. The map is not the territory. If you see, map is not the territory. If you take the map to be the territory, map is a representation of a territory, but map is not the territory. So therefore, when I'm using the word knowledge, please understand, I'm using the word knowledge, I'm referring to words, Vachyartha Jnanam, but word is only an indicator indicating the indicated, which is other than the indicator. Word is only a pointer pointing out the pointed, which is other than the pointer. When I say look, when I tell people look there, look at the beautiful Krishna idol, the finger, right, is look, means don't stop at the finger. The finger is telling drop the finger, look in that direction. And there you find Lord Krishna's Murti. So every word is a pointer pointing out the pointed, which is other than the pointer. So therefore J. Krishnamurti says the word is not the thing, the description is not the described. But as I told you yesterday, if a transformatory apparatus called Antakarna Shuddhi is not acquired, if you don't create an internal apparatus called Antakarna Shuddhi, then what happened? Your tendency is to get stuck to the word, and when you get stuck to the word is only a container containing the content which is other than the container. Word is only a container. And that's why I really request all of you to do my live workshops. And in the workshops, there will not be thousands of people like this. Just about 152 people there. And whole day, I'll allow you to ask questions. And when I allow you to ask questions, I'll make you see whatever beautiful jargon I use. People love jargon. They get the notebook. Constantly, they'll have a notebook. Any word, some of you I'm seeing here also. As I say, kata, 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 they'll write down. Then I tell in my live workshops, I said, please don't write down. Let it not be in the pustak, let it get into your mastak. Because when you start writing down, I'll tell them, you have my words, but I will have the meaning. They will have my words, but I will have the meaning. If you have my words and I have the meaning, a word is only a container containing a meaning. But you have the container, I have the content. It is ridiculous. And therefore, my own mind relax, please. I've given this example to convey this point. And it's a very important point in a simple way I've conveyed, which is an important testament for the Bhagavad Gita is, I say, I've given this example in own mind relax, please. Now, the owner tells the servant, and he was selling rabbits. So he tells the servant, right, take this rabbit. He puts the rabbit in a cage. He gives the cage to the servant boy, gives the address and tells the boy, take this cage to this address and deliver the rabbit. Be careful with the address, or else, he says very powerfully. Very tough boss he was. Therefore, the subordinate, the servant takes the address carefully, where he has to deliver the rabbit in this cage, in the pocket, and as he is going, he falls down. Right, hardly about 1 kilometer, he falls down. When he falls down, the cage falls, the cage opens, and the rabbit disappears. And the boy is laughing, the servant is laughing, laughing, laughing. The rabbit is running. Now all the people around come and said, hey Buddhu, what has happened to you? The rabbit has gone and you are laughing. Your boss is such a tough boss. Right? Why are you laughing? I can't understand. And the boy says, the servant says, where can the rabbit go? I have got the address. He says, where can the rabbit go? I have got the address. Now, exactly like this, through the book, Oh Mind Relax, Please, I have explained to you, you get the Guru's words, but the meaning the rabbit has gone. Therefore, Hindus have got the word of Lord Krishna, the word of the Veda, but the meaning is gone. The Christians get the word of Jesus, the Bible, the meaning is with Jesus. Right? And therefore, please, all this is because you don't understand word is not the thing. The description is not the described. Why these 2 days you have been listening intensively, and I'm really happy the crowd is more and more swelling, even though I'm going in a little higher gear, or all of you are really attentively, but beware, don't catch my words and miss the meaning. Then you will have knowledge. And therefore, have you seen in our own country, right, where the Veda says, Isha Vasam Idagum Sarvam Yatkinchit Jagatyam Jagat, everything is divine, everything is divine. Still, somebody says, I am a Brahmin, you are a Shudra. I am purer than you. I am high, you are low. So therefore, please see, you say Ishavasyam, you say Advaita, then you also make a distinction. I am superior than you, because you have got the word, you have not got the meaning. So these 2 days you have listened intensively, even though I have gone in one level of gear, and all of you are listening attentively, but beware of this invisible tap. Don't stop at knowledge. Knowledge is beautiful, but don't stop at knowledge. Go to a level higher, let knowledge become understanding.